I'm delighted to be sitting with one of the founders of Styx, Dennis DeYoung, and the newest addition, Glen Burtnik. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Now, you haven't been around since Kilroy was here in 1983, and the band broke up. Why did it break up?
Well, the reason is the robot mask got so tight on my cranium that I couldn't think for about... No, actually, I'll tell you the truth now.
Okay.
Tommy Shaw, one of our former guitar players, he decided he wanted to pursue a solo career, and he quit in the middle of the Kilroy tour, so consequently we decided just to take some time off, and that's pretty much what happened.
And then you went solo as well as James.
Yes.
And went solo for a while.
James, you went solo, didn't you? James was over there.
Now, did you meet, or you come across Styx through James in his solo pursuits?
Yeah, that really was the way. Actually, I knew Tommy, but I bumped into Jimmy Boy through Jan Hammer. I had done work with him.
And he produced James's album.
They worked together in some,
capacity.
And so, so that's how we knew each other. And then I also had a few solo records out at the same time that Dennis had his solo record out. So we
were on the same label.
Yeah.
And I was aware of Glen.
You were aware of him?
Yes, aware of him. I mean, I didn't, I knew he was on A&M.
Actually, we were competing at the time, I guess.
Yes. Glen and Dennis and Fergal Sharkey, which gives you an idea of A&M's roster. But
so how did it converge? How did you finally hook up with these people?
Well, they had been split up for a few years, and I needed a job. So I called these guys up. I said, let's get Styx back together. I need a job. And
was it hard to convince them?
No, they were very bored, and they needed something to do themselves. So it worked out pretty cool.
Well, JY would point out, we have a desperate need for attention, and pretty much I called up JY and said he wasn't really getting recognized in McDonald's anymore when he went in there. I said, let's get the band back together again, please. I mean, really. So that's... Actually, Glen sent us, seriously, he sent us a demo tape of some songs that he'd written, and he was the first tape. We didn't actually audition anybody. His tape came in the mail. We were rehearsing at my house, and we put the tape on, and the first track, Love is a Ritual, played, and JY and I jumped up and we started dancing around together like this, because we knew this was definitely the guy that should fill that spot.
That's great.
It was just that simple. Really.
You have a lot of tunes penned by Glen, right?
Yeah, it was really nice of these guys to kind of take me in and let me share so much of the songwriting credit and get to sing all the songs, as many as I did, and it's been really great, a lot of fun.
You didn't mention the lawn service thing.
I do have to do their lawns.
That's part of the deal.
Is it a writer or is it a?
It's part of the deal. We don't.
No, she meant like a writer more.
Oh, writer. Oh, I thought a writer under contract.
Yeah, I'll do the lawn if I get M&M's, only bread, a case of Heine.
Yeah, it's a writer.
You have a little red wagon with the gasoline and you come up to their house every week.
It gets ugly, and that's why I'm glad we're touring this summer, because
Let
I
the
don't really
grass
have to
grow.
do the lawn. Yeah,
That's right.
It's kind of cool.
Before I forget, all my wife's relatives are Canadian.
All your wives?
All my wife's, no wait.
You're not from Idaho.
How do I say that? How do I say
Utah.
My wife's relatives are Canadian. And
really?
Yeah, and where's the camera? Is this the one right
Where are they from in Canada?
Saskatchewan.
Ah.
Yeah, and her cousin Freddie is very seriously ill and has been for some time. I just want to say, God bless Freddie, and I know you're watching there, so he's in the hospital. So
that's great.
I want to say that's it. I didn't want to say any more. That was the only plug.
Well, that's fine. That's an admirable plug.
Yeah.
Speaking of writing, of which we were, Dennis, you wrote a song, "Show Me the Way," that became, unbeknownst to you when you were writing it, the anthem for the Gulf War crisis. What were your reactions when it became that mix, that Persian Gulf mix?
At first, when I first heard somebody put some sound bites on the song, I was very much concerned that people would take something that I had written and manipulate it in a way that was not what I had intended.
Yeah. But
Chris Taylor, this guy from Washington, D.C., a radio station, he did a version that was just really so heartwarming that when I did hear it, we sat, all of us, and talked about it and said that we were just very gratified in some way that the idea, the essence of the song, in other words, the search for some direction, some guidance from some place to help us through, crisis and emotional situations, was applied specifically to the way a lot of Americans felt about their involvement in the Gulf War, and consequently, we're really extremely pleased with what happened. It wasn't a negative at all; it was a very big positive.
That's good.
Yeah.
Were you surprised? Was this something that, because you didn't write this as an anthem, or it just was perceived that way once the golf war started.
The very first day that it happened, I was on the phone from 2 in the afternoon till about 6:30 at night constantly with people calling me about what was going on.
Oh, wow.
I was getting calls from, you know, CNN and ABC and Washington Post. Everybody was calling me. I was like, I remember sitting on my bed on the phone and thinking to myself at 6:30 that I was dreaming what was happening, because it was like the most astounding thing that I'd ever seen in, in my years of writing music, that there'd be such an immediate reaction
to one song.
To something. It was, you know, unbelievable.
Well, there was one song that I have to thank you for, Mr. Roboto. Now, whenever I see Japanese people or meet with them, I can actually say thank you in their tongue, and that's only because of your song. Someone asked me, how do you know how to say thank you in Japanese? It's because of Mr. Roboto.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Well, a lot of people thought that was Italian, but it's actually, it's a Japanese.
A lot of vowels, people just assume
the O's
that.
on the end. Thank you, James.
Our resident heckler.
He's bound and gagged, by the way, for all you people who... It's kind of a thing we do on the road with him.
Is that in the show, the bounding and the gagging?
Well, the only time we actually unbind him and ungag him is for show, and then we let him go out, play, sing.
And then he goes and does the lawn.
That's right.
And what do you do? Do you have any function? Are you bound? Are you gagged? Are you
tell him what I do.
Basically, we kind of prop him up there and tell the audience, here he is, and he waves, and then we roll him
like
off.
the Queen.
Yeah. And then John Panazzo and Chuck Panazzo pretty much do the rest of the show.
I see.
So.
That's what I've heard, actually.
We hired Glen to like run around me really fast to make me look as if I am moving.
Create some wind tunnel.
Look at him. I think he went like this.
You know, Equinox, when that was released, you headlined your first major tour in Montreal at the Forum. Did you find that Canadian audiences embraced the band before U.S. audiences did?
Before or after the show? It's an old embracing joke. The greatest experience I've ever had personally was on the stage of the Forum the first time we played there. Well, let me think about that. Well, there was that one, no. We were on the stage of the Forum, and we had not really had enormous success in the States. We had one hit single with a thing called Lady. We went out on stage at the Forum, we played the song Sweet Madam Blue. The whole Forum stood up, and they just started screaming. And for a minute, I thought Jay White took his pants off, but it turned out they were just, it was like the first notion that I had personally that this whole Styx thing was going to work. Was really going to work, and it was that moment that I'll never forget as long as I live.
That's
and it was
great.
on stage in Montreal.
That's wonderful. Yeah. And you're on stage tonight at the Kingswood.
Yeah.
With your new album, Edge of the Century. And how does it feel to be back? And to you, how does it feel to be amongst a band, not solo anymore? Your own songs are being up there.
Oh, it's great. I mean, the reaction we're getting everywhere on tour is certainly a blast for me. I mean, I'm sure everybody's having fun, but the audience, you know, to see an audience singing along with so many of the songs and just having a great time. I mean, it's incredible. The reaction has surprised us all, I think. I mean, the audience reaction, because the band, it's been 6 or 7 years maybe, you know, and so everybody's having a good time.
That's good.
And we love it. We especially enjoy it when they sing along, you know, like with Row, Row, Row Your Boat. And we do that round thing. It's beautiful. You know?
And I had never known that Styx had done that song.
We wrote that song.
Oh,
that was a Styx song.
So that's a lot of royalties.
And they hold up the lighters. Row, row. It's beautiful.
We do a wave.
That's enough to get anyone at the Kingswood tonight. Run, Do Not Walk. It's Styx, and this is from their new one, Edge of the Century, on Much Music. I want to thank you for coming by.
Thank you.